At one time, I was, a juvenile delinquent breaking the law.
This is F.A.C.E Productions, Focus Authority, Creating Excellence.
Hey, are you sure? Let me see the seconds.
Right.
Hello. I was engaging in a second act of crime also, and that was dating and having sex as a minor. Everybody.
Who you are?
Okay. Hi, my name is Danielle. I asked Sean. I have to remind him of where to put our little webcam type of thing, handheld web camera.
Right.
That's very cool. I reminded him that they make another one also. He's helping me out on the street. I'm a female out here in Milwaukee that needs that very low income and no employment or anything like that. But I do have a story to tell.
Right.
So I hope you're interested in listening to what I have to say, because I'd also very, very, very much enjoy it if you could tune in to what I'm trying to tell you all.
Yeah.
So this is Sean, and he says he's with F.A.C.E Productions.
Focused Authority, Creating Excellence.
Okay.
All
right. So
so tell us about you.
All right. So my name is Danielle, and I stay. Like I said, we are in Milwaukee. So it's a little complicated, and I already mentioned that I do have a little bit of trouble communicating. So this time is our second time around, because the first time we had a little bit of a trouble with our webcam here.
Yeah, a little hiccup.
So now I think where I'd like to start is that I at one time. And it started with me being a adolescent, and I found myself in employment. I actually did receive a high school diploma, though. Surprisingly, I went on to college also, but aside from me being underage, employed. I was engaging in a second act of crime also, and that was dating and having sex as a minor. Everybody might, some of you might have heard of a statutory crime, which is like, underage, adolescent crimes. That's why I call myself a juvenile delinquent.
Right.
So now that I'm 37, and like I said, I'm a female living in Milwaukee on the street. I don't have income, and I don't have employment neither. But as a homeless individual, I'm a pretty strong girl, and pretty girl also, beautiful, and I'm smart. Sometimes I go through. Sometimes I like to fool people and tell you all that I'm healthy, but I'm actually not doing so good. My years like to catch up to me. So now here's the tricky part that I don't like to that I really need your attention for, and like I said, I'm not really good with being verbal, so I'm gonna try to keep your attention. But that's the last time I'm gonna say it, I promise. So here's the story. As a young girl, I was from New Jersey, and I had a mentor, and this person was a family member of mine. I mentioned to F.A.C.E Productions here. I mentioned to Sean that my brother Tommy, he was ready to move on with his life, and he was skilled in academics. Now this is my brother, like I said, so we were close in age. So it was brought to my attention a more ethical way of living. And I mentioned with my conversation today with Sean that as a part of history, Maya Angelou, and she was a speaker on civil rights,
Right.
and how segregation or desegregation played a part in the South after Rosa, for Rosa Parks, or kind of like Martin Luther King, but
Right.
something
Civil
like
rights
that,
movement.
right? So that kind of has something to do with me because of where we are today in the year 2025.
Right.
And like I mentioned, breaking the law, and I mentioned breaking the law, and that laws do exist, and that how I was underage, a juvenile delinquent, committing more than one act of crime. But I never really, all I had to do ever was show up in court and pay fines for it. I never, it wasn't something frequent for me to be present in the justice system, to where I had to serve any time or anything like that. But that's what I'm getting at. Is it was in a way, it was a blessing to be present those few days. It was kind of a blessing to be present, and to have that type of knowledge. But there's really not many people to listen that would like to kind of play to engage in it, and that's why maybe Sean's giving me another chance to talk to somebody about it, even though and Milwaukee is too, by bringing awareness to me that civil rights, that anybody has that civil right. Same thing with your Bill of Rights, or the Declaration of Independence, and that's where I'm getting at, is that we've been independent since December 15th of 1791. That's actually my birthday, December 15th, but I'm 37, and like I said, I lost a lot of important people in my life, and sometimes it has to do with sometimes it just has to do with people not really striving. They're not striding for for who they are, or people are taking it for granted. And like I mentioned it already, is that at one time I was practically just a trendsetter, taking advantage of people being different, and instead of me listening to Tommy and and buckling down, and I knew that I couldn't do it because I already lost important people in my life. And and when people don't take that stride, or take the strive, either way, to fight for the people that lost their lives, that person is also at a loss, that is still here, that is still here today. So that's what I mean when I say, just don't take it for granted when you have somebody with you like that, because you can always engage. You can, like me and him are doing right now in front of you. You can always engage with each other like God tells us to. You know what I mean? You don't have to look so far for those people that you lost, because God makes that creation, and people are eternal. So
So are you saying that in your earlier stages of like teenage years, you got introduced to, I guess, sex and money?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so,
money and sex. Yep.
So you decided, okay, let me start making some money.
Yeah. I automatically, because the city life was really like hip to me as a kid. And when I lost, I guess maybe when I lost the second most important person in my life, I just wasn't really aware that I was giving up on what was important to me. Yeah.
And so I guess along that journey,
it was kind of tragic, and I took it upon myself, like, I'm just an adult, and I'm not gonna listen to mom and dad, and I don't care about daddy's house.
Right.
Yeah.
And so somewhere along that journey, I guess that led you into drug usage? Or would you say?
Well, I mean, I think in between that point, I was kind of pretty comfortable with being with my, you know what I mean, engaging in sex with somebody that I thought kind of loved me, but
Yeah.
he didn't. You know what I mean? We were both pretty young, and we were kind of just in the eyes of our small little town.
Yeah.
We thought that we were okay that way because
Right.
that's where we were.
Right.
Yeah,
So
but it actually wasn't okay because, you know, I still had my own family, and you know, and it caught on because Tommy was ready to make himself into something, and he said I already know Pop died, and that hip city life ain't gonna be cool for me if this small town and these small people who keep breaking the law, it's not going to be okay if, you know what I mean? It's not going to be okay with my city life, and I know my small town ain't going to come take me down that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and so have you ever found yourself, well, how did you end up here in Wisconsin? Like, how did you move to Milwaukee?
So that's something that played a part because that's the part that I'm getting at, and it's pretty hard for me to tell you all about it, and that's because of the effect that my brother had on my life when I was before my pretty close to me graduating from high school and moving on to college. Practically at that same time is when he, you know what I mean, I kind of met, he kind of, you know what I mean, he kind of jumped under my skin. Instead of me being pissed about my boyfriend Robbie at the time. Instead of me being pissed at him all the time, somebody else showed me up and kind of, you know what I mean, showed me something cool and crafty that I didn't really see coming.
Right.
Yeah. Because tragic comes in more ways than one.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It does. It comes in more ways than one. It's not just like.
No, this is true.
Yeah, kind of like crime, crime activity.
Right.
It's not just. I mean, I don't like being caught. I don't like being caught by my own words. It's not a joke. It's not funny when a person has to keep going through their life. You know what I mean? Being not sure what time of, you know what I mean? What time of month, like, you know what I mean? Like a horoscope.
Yeah.
Each year the horoscope might change. Like, you know what I mean? Like now being January 31st and a new year starting just for Chinese. I mean, there's Chinese here in America with us, but the Chinese also, you know what I mean? The Chinese, similar to South America, they have fishing industries, and then they have, you know what I mean? They have wild industries to where they use those industries for their own countries, their own regions, for that globe, for it to prosper in that industry. Like right now, we have America, and America is using. I mean, they have their own government, and I mean, the only reason why I can say that is because I'm an American, and we have our own industry, but it's not safe because, you know what I mean? Because only certain people can profit off of that. Only certain people can. Only certain people profit that way.
Yeah, this is true. So, when night falls, do you have a place where you reside? Do you have a home you go to? Is there someone close to you that?
No, unfortunately I don't, and you know. I mean, that's just one thing, you know, that like.
So how do you manage? What do you do when it's cold?
Well,
nighttime?
I mean, sort of like that's what I'm saying is it always catches up, like when a person has something special about them, You know, kind of like a little girl's favorite movie. If it's a Disney movie, or you know what I mean, if it's a cartoon, either way, that it could still be special. It could just be an eyeliner, or it can be, you know, a certain color, you know, eyeliner. Either way, it touches a person, and it's not okay for the person to keep going on that way. Like, at one time, it was okay for me. I mean, now that it's been 8 years from me being homeless in this part of the United States, like, it always catches up, whether it's me doing something wrong, which I don't really think is the case, because I wouldn't still be here from the time 20 some years ago, 20 almost, you know what I mean? I won't even say that number, but.
So when you say do something wrong, like,
if it was me doing something wrong, and the reason why I keep getting put into these situations, I mean, I guess it could just be because I'm good with numbers, and I could take. Your thing died.
Yeah.
You see, did it die?
No,
you got it charged?
Yes.
Okay, it's still counting. Yeah. So if it was the reason, like, why I'm still going on, why I'm still here trying to get through these obstacles, and it's because I have a heart. You know what I mean? So, sort of like a documentary, or like, you know what I mean? It's more like living a life because I guess kind of why I keep going through these things. I mean, it's not because I'm an excellent person with a college degree and a profession and a family and a house with a pet, celebrating holidays. You know, it's not that. It's because I'm actually a good person. Like, for me to find drugs, for my first drug becoming legal, and for certain people that can, you know what I mean, take themselves through these visits for legal marijuana.
Right.
You know,
is that your drug of choice when you say find drugs?
No, I mean, at one time it was my drug of choice, but I also found the first person, you know what I mean, the first boy that was like an important person in my life, right?
So what would that drug of choice be today?
Well, and then that's what I mean. It takes obstacles. Like, I moved on. I moved past that point because it was tragic for me, you know? It was tragic. For some reason, like, people get comfortable with their own self. Like, I mean, like, I sort of kind of like, if I were to play that story that I just told you about China, or, you know what I mean, China, or let's say Vietnam, like Vietnam. I mean, it's still a country, you know, but you could also use, you know, Thailand. I mean, they're two different places, two different countries. I mean, one is more specialized in food. The other one is more specialized in people being hurt. Right. Like Southeastern Asia. They you know what I mean? They put those people, that place in the books for many things. Right. They call it Burmese, where they changed the name from Myanmar. They said that they were in civil unrest at one point, like people are experiencing now in the United States, and it comes in storms, like, you know what I mean, like the East Coast does, where they get hit with tornadoes and hurricanes and things, and it's because, you know what I mean, it's because people just come together and they all want that, you know, like that. But they're not realizing where it's coming from, why they're being blessed that way. Somebody else, you know what I mean, somebody else is being hurt by it. And that's what I'm getting at, is like, you know, if it's me, because there's something else, there's something that I have. But I mean, look, I mean, I could just, I'm in a car.
Right.
There's a store, like I'm with a person.
Right.
All it takes would be for me to just take it off and start using it, putting it on my face.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go get another one.
Right.
And that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Right.
I mean, I go through those obstacles.
Yeah.
I do, but if it's not me doing something wrong, and finding myself years later,
Right.
and then getting hurt by it again, getting hit, having to be disciplined, like, you know what I mean? Discipline. How much? How long can I hurt you to make you stop?
Right.
But I shouldn't be the one hurting people when, you know what I mean, just holding it or throwing it out and going and opening it and getting another one.
Right. Right. No, you should be the person that's loving people.
Yeah.
So what is it how does the rest of this night look for you? Like what happens once this interview is over?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm getting at is like, I mean, it's just more of me being shut up about things because I need other people like you sitting here with me and, you know what I mean, putting me on blast or giving me the opportunity, which can also be a blessing, or it could be a miracle from you know what I mean, the heaven up above. Like, it could be you in another instance saying, like, you know what I mean, I see this girl and I see that she's a shining star, and now that it's 6 o'clock,
Right.
you know what I mean, and I know that it's Friday, and I know that we can spend time together. I know that somebody's going to appreciate that if it's coming from the heavens up above, because
Right.
I mean, I know that I pray to him today.
Yeah.
I pray to him today, and
As you should.
right, yeah.
You're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
know?
Yeah. I think that second one went a little bit better. I hope I was able to get my point across a little bit easier to y'all, or on the whoever's going to be watching this, or to the person that's live here with F.A.C.E Productions, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think they recognize and they see. It's a broader picture. Although, people are stuck in their little shells and their little boxes or whatever, what you're speaking on is a broad sense of like how we're all connected. From the smallest things to the things that people think about the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter if it's from here to China, whether it's import, export, whatever the situation is. We do need one another, and we have to respect and love one another.
Yeah.
In that sense, we can find ourselves at an early age experimenting or experiencing hardship, or in trouble with the law or whatever, and then we can fast forward 20 years from there. And some people can stay stuck in that situation.
Yeah.
Some people can find themselves, moved away from a lot of the negative things and find themselves in a better situation.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, I think it's about each one caring for one another.
Yeah.
How do you
I mean,
feel right now?
it doesn't. Like I said, I mentioned in the beginning of this video, 13 minutes ago, was, that it doesn't. I don't know what I mentioned, but it does. Like, I mentioned the year 2025 and about civil rights, or I said Maya Angelou and Martin Luther King.
Right.
I mentioned that they speak on civil rights as African Americans, and I mean, I've heard of one of those names before.
Right.
I haven't heard of both of them, but I heard of segregation and how it stopped. Right. I heard of the end of segregation. But what I didn't know about, though, was about about how a person has rights.
Right.
Like I said, about the civil right or free speech, like Martin Luther King would have told people about when he was alive. And that's so important, and that's the very first thing that a person should know. And one fact, there's many facts. There's many facts involved with learning a person's rights, because it's not just simple like, you know what I mean? What is your favorite color? Well, my favorite color is blue. The person, you know what I mean? That one question has many different possibilities to it.
Different
You know,
layers.
it's just what color do you have? But there's, I mean, as you can see, there's 3 colors there, and just one of them is. I'm just kidding, but
It makes all the sense in the world. I get it. Like, some people look at things on a shallow understanding and not understanding that there's a broad, vast understanding of everything, whether it's the smallest thing or the thing we would consider ginormous. You know what I mean? Like the situation here. You know, I just met you. I'm talking to you. I really appreciate that you're opening up. You're talking to me.
yeah,
You're allowing me to let the viewers see us have this conversation. That means a lot. We don't know who this conversation touches later,
yeah,
and we don't know how,
right,
right? But
yeah.
we know we're doing it for a good cause.
Yeah, and that's kind of responsible on your part, because, I mean, in a way, I mean, you use yourself to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, and that's very smart. But it's not very smart to say that, like, you don't know who it's going to affect, because, I mean, you want it to have a good effect.
Totally.
And, you know, like I speak on regions, you know, how things are tragic for people, and how sometimes death can be tragic on a person, just hearing it.
Right.
You know, if that person is so important. You know, I mean, I'd rather hear of a person dying that I don't know, instead of, you know, so me hearing it, I won't lose my earrings, or I won't have to remember that this person is the same age as me, and now he's dead. Yo, what the fuck's that going to do for me now? That's going to keep me too young, and that means I got more work to do. Damn it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But that's what I mean about those crimes, though. Like, I'm not sure how I'm committing this crime on my own self, but I guess maybe my answer is a little too close to my own color, because I know people tell me how young and that I am beautiful. You know, I mean, I know that I might not feel young, but yeah, I do feel beautiful many times.
You are.
It's just I think the answer I'm looking for is I like it when somebody comes to me to tell me, hey, tell me who you are, you know, because there's many people that I admire. Yeah. There's many people that I can see that will put a smile on my face, just based off of you know, how they care for themselves, and you know.
I hope I can be one of those people.
Yeah.
Put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying myself.
So just think about what you said about the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, and just think about that time, how stressed the African American population must have been or felt. You know what I mean? To feel like I can walk out my house and probably be killed today, or
for the segregation. Yeah.
You know, and then to think like me and you today, that if they saw your race and my race this close, talking in an intimate way, it can cause me problems, right? Probably even cause you problems as well. We don't know. But this was Martin Luther King's dream, right? And so if you take the feeling that those people had back then about just trying to survive, versus the way you may feel out here on the street today, just trying to survive. That's still 1,000,000 years away from how bad I think African American people had it in the survival of, in the understanding of survival. You understand? Like, maybe you still have, you can get out this car today and walk somewhere and ask someone, can you possibly help me? You might get help, you might not.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of a black woman walking these streets and asking for help, she was liable to get killed or she was liable to get raped.
Yeah.
And just pushed to the curb. Right? So I think when we talk about broad differences, we have to look at back then, 1900s, all the way to 2025, like the strides that has been made, but there's still so many more strides to go. And just this conversation alone, I think, helps that process.
Yeah.
You know, this started out to be a conversation, in my opinion, about struggle from a female's perspective who's on the street, who may use drugs, who may use sex to acquire currency, right? And it took a whole different turn because I'm speaking to someone of intellect, someone who's thinking about a time that came before themselves, right? I think that's beautiful, right? I think that's what makes you beautiful. I think you understand that, and I think that that's what's going to lead you to the destination you're headed to in a successful way. You know what I mean? So, yeah, again, I appreciate you.
Oh, okay.
I appreciate the time,
Yeah.
conversation, you know, and
Same here. I appreciate getting that out. I enjoy, like, usually, I mean, for some reason, I'm just not sure. I think people, and for some reason, I like to point the finger. I even do it to myself. Like, I do it to myself a lot of the time, and I think it has to do with the education I received about like, kind of like falling short a lot of the time, or not using my own creative mind, and not, you know what I mean, not being able to come out of my shell and work well with other people.
right.
But yeah, I think a lot of the time people are changed by like what goes on around them. You know, they're changed a lot by what goes on around them. And like I said, a lot of the times, not many people come and can get me out of my shell to the point where, who are you, Danielle? Tell me about yourself. You know. Not many people are like that, and they are the same skin color that I am. Like, sometimes I feel invisible, actually. But yeah, so, and like I said, to be honest, sometimes I feel that way about the African American population that live amongst me. Because, I mean, I know I'm not a well-traveled person, and, I mean, I come off to be intelligent, but that's because of how I came to be so much more experienced than what I was actually created for. And that's how I was blessed from my brother. You know, he helped me to become, I mean, good or bad,
Well-rounded.
you know, good or bad, things are dangerous. And you know, Tommy told me that from the very beginning. He said, be careful, because it is dangerous out there. And I mean, for a little while, I really didn't see it as dangerous, because I was so good at breaking the law and not having to serve time in the Justice Department as a criminal. But I mean, like I said, it comes back to you. You just do so much good. You put it, you know what I mean? You let your heart work. You let your heart work, and one day it'll show up. It'll come, you know what I mean? It'll show up better if it's actually true. Yeah.
So when I first approached you, what was your thoughts when you first saw me?
Well, I don't know. I said things have been going pretty good for me. So I wasn't sure if I was going to have to sell myself and find myself in another bad situation a couple years from now, or, you know what I mean, or if I was going to have an easy day, easy weekend, and show up better than I did last week.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's a good situation all in all.
Yeah. I like that little camera you got though.
Yeah.
That thing is cool. It's handheld and all.
Yeah.
I get bored with things. I get tired.
And actually, like if I tap it,
Mhm.
you see that
What's it
scroll?
do?
Now if you move, it moves. It follows you.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
Alright. But yeah, it's just it has a tracker on it as well.
Yeah.
Like
Does
if
it?
I wanted to just set it down on the tripod and I had an action scene I wanted to do, it would follow.
Like a timer on it,
Yeah.
right? Like if you put it down and you have to go, if you have to do something across the room or something,
Right.
you can take a still shot of it.
Yeah. Like okay, so if it's here, and I put it on, so you see how that moves? Move closer to you.
Okay. Oh, like it swivels.
My own camera.
Oh, I see.
Right?
I see.
So that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you are good at that. Yeah, you're good at holding. I wonder if you. I'm gonna have to check that out on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look
please
for
do.
myself on there too.
Yeah, please do. Almost authority create excellence.
No, that's cool. I wonder if you have an eye, if you have that ability actually in you. I mean, does it come from doing things better, like doing better things, doing better deeds, and like trying? I mean, I'm sure it comes from trying harder, but you have to be able to make some sort of a better attempt, you know, at doing things more appropriate. That's what I'm getting at, is like some of these people out here really ain't that beautiful, you know, because of whether it is if they're being dirty at something, you know. That's why I'm good at blaming myself, you know. I'm very good at that.
Well, blame yourself for the good things.
Yeah.
Try not to blame yourself.
Yeah.
for the negative.
Just don't give myself so much credit for my age, I guess. Just
You got a beautiful age. You're still young.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I do. I gotta give myself more credit.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess we can end it here and
Okay.
just say thanks again and tell people to subscribe.
Okay, yeah. What's up, everybody? Thanks for listening. My name's Danielle.
Yeah.
I say in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Remember, animal rights does exist.
That's right.
You know,
So
it does. God bless.
like and subscribe. F.A.C.E Production.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell me, girl, I never, girl, I never, girl, I